Hey guys, Zach from Kubota Lynchburg here. Wanted to talk to you guys about implements today. We've already talked a lot about tractor sizes and horsepower sizes and which implements are important to purchase for your tractor and why you need certain implements. But what we haven't really covered is what size implement. And size implement is very important. A lot of times it'll be important about your horsepower of your tractor. So for example, this is a 2501, a 25 horsepower tractor. But what that means is it's actually only about 19 horsepower on the PTO. So whatever is driving your implement, if you have a PTO driven implement, it's only 19. So the appropriate size implement is always important. So when you're talking a bush hog or a tiller, you'll need to look at the specifications that say, all right, my 19 PTO horsepower tractor can run a 58-inch tiller. If you want to go with a 66 or 72, it will really bog down. So it has to be the correct size horsepower to implement to the gearbox on that implement. So that is one factor. So for say you have a 60 horsepower tractor, yes, that can run a 10 or even a 12-foot bush hog. Do you have to go to a 10 or 12-foot bush hog? Absolutely not. You can still run with a 5 or 6-foot bush hog as long as it has the right gearbox and it fits the application that you need. Now, if we're talking solid implements, for example, the box blade behind me. Box blades are extremely popular. Most tractor people have a box blade for certain purposes. One of the major rules for an implement behind your tractor, unless it's something like a wood chipper that you don't really care about as much size-wise, it does the capability of it, is that the implement covers your tire width. So if we come in here and we look, you will see that this is a 66-inch box blade, and your tire width is only about 58 wide. So you will have a couple inches of overlap on either side. This is ideal. You don't want your tires to go on the ground that you have already either maintained or you haven't maintained yet. So if your tires are sticking wider than a box blade, wider than a grading scraper, wider than a tiller, for example, you're gonna damage the ground that you're not used yet. Or if you've already tilled that ground and now you're driving over the tires, you're gonna pack it back down. So you want something that is going to cover your tire width. That's almost 99% rule for an implement on the back, will be cover your tire width. On the front, it's usually pretty similar as well. You want to cover your tire width. Again, there's implements like pallet forks and grapples. That it's not as important, but usually you want around your tire width on it. So if we're looking at this with the width of it, this is a perfect size implement. If you go to an 84-inch box blade, your tractor at a 25 horsepower will not handle that box blade appropriately. So again, go to the size that is correct, do the research on it, talk to your sales guys on it, and figure that out first. Before you buy an implement, make sure you get the correct size so you're not disappointed with it or it's not working appropriately. So another thing to consider is the angulation of an implement. This is solid. Box blade's not going to move much. It might jostle around a little bit. But if you have a rear blade or a rear rake or something else that will angle back and forth, take that into consideration. If you have a 72-inch blade and you angle it, it will angle down to about 64 inches. So if you put a 60-inch blade behind this and you angle it and then goes to 53 inches, you will no longer cover your tire width. So remember, if there's an angle implement, make sure you take that into consideration, as well as a tilt implement. If it tilts up and down, make sure that you have enough length to kind of go outside of your tire width to handle that as well. So multiple things to think about. Consider all the options and factors when you go to buy that implement.